He killed a man by pretending to embrace him. He murdered a rival general in the gate of a city with a whispered word and a hidden knife. He defied a king's direct orders and killed that king's own son, then justified it to his face. His name was Joab. He was King David's nephew, David's general, and possibly the most dangerous man in the entire Old Testament. Not dangerous like a villain, dangerous like a weapon that never quite stayed under control, even in the hand that wielded it. This is the story of Joab, son of Zeruiah. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most compelling and most overlooked figures in the entire biblical narrative. Joab isn't a prophet. He isn't a king. He doesn't get his own book. But if you read the story of David closely, you start to realize something unsettling. David may have worn the crown, but Joab was often the one making sure David kept it. He was loyal to a fault. He was ruthless beyond reason, and by the end of his life, the very ferocity that made him useful is exactly what got him killed. Let's get into it. Blood and family. To understand Joab, you have to understand who his mother was. Joab was the son of Zeruiah, and Zeruiah was David's sister. That makes Joab David's nephew. This wasn't some general David hired off the street. This was family. Blood, and in the ancient Near East, blood meant obligation. Joab had two brothers, Abishai and Asahel, and together the three of them formed a kind of inner circle of enforcers around David. Wherever David went, these sons of Zeruiah were near, and they were not gentle men. David himself, later in life, says something remarkable. He complains that the sons of Zeruiah are too hard for him, too fierce, too ruthless, too much even for the king to control. Think about that. The king of Israel, a warrior himself, a man who killed Goliath, and even he found Joab frightening. That tells you everything you need to know before the story even starts. The murder of Abner. The first great act of Joab's ferocity comes early in David's reign, during a civil war between David's forces and the house of Saul. The opposing general was a man named Abner, Saul's former commander, and in one battle, Abner kills Joab's younger brother, Asahel, in self-defense during a chase. Abner warns Asahel to stop pursuing him. Asahel doesn't listen. Abner kills him. From that moment on, Joab wants blood. Later, Abner decides to defect. He comes to David offering to unite all of Israel under David's throne. This is huge. This could end the civil war peacefully. David receives him, makes a deal, sends him away in peace. And then Joab finds out. Joab goes to David, furious that Abner was allowed to leave alive. Then, without David's knowledge or permission, Joab sends messengers to bring Abner back. When Abner arrives, Joab takes him aside, as if for a private conversation, and stabs him in the stomach. Cold, personal, revenge dressed up as a private word between old rivals. David is horrified. He publicly curses the act, mourns Abner, and makes sure everyone knows he had no part in it. But notice what he does not do. He does not punish Joab. He can't. Joab is too powerful, too necessary, too dangerous to remove. This is the pattern that will define their entire relationship. The general who won David's wars. Now, it's worth pausing here, because Joab isn't just a killer, he's genuinely brilliant. He commands the assault that captures Jerusalem itself, earning him the position of commander-in-chief over all of Israel's armies. He leads victorious campaigns against the Ammonites and the Syrians. When David's kingdom is threatened on multiple fronts, it's Joab's tactical mind holding the line. He is, by any military standard, one of the most successful generals in the entire Hebrew Bible. And this is what makes him so complicated. This isn't a man who's simply bloodthirsty for its own sake. He builds an empire with his sword. He is fiercely, unshakably loyal to David's throne. In many ways, Everything David becomes, he becomes because Joab made it possible on the battlefield. But that same ferocity has no off switch, and that becomes David's problem again and again: the death of Absalom. This next moment might be the single most defining act of Joab's life. David's son Absalom leads a rebellion against his own father, trying to seize the throne. It nearly works. David is forced to flee Jerusalem. War breaks out between father and son. Before the final battle, David gives an order to his commanders, including Joab, that everyone hears clearly: "Deal gently with the young man Absalom, for my sake. Whatever happens, don't kill my son." The battle turns in David's favor, and then Absalom, fleeing on a mule, gets his hair caught in the branches of a great tree. He's left hanging there, helpless, alive. A soldier finds him and reports it to Joab, but refuses to kill him, specifically because he heard David's order. He even says he wouldn't touch Absalom for 1,000 pieces of silver. Joab doesn't hesitate. He says there's no time to waste, takes 3 spears and drives them into Absalom's chest himself while the prince is still hanging alive in the tree. Then his armor-bearers finish the job. Joab has just executed the king's son, directly against the king's explicit order. Why? Because in Joab's mind, sentiment doesn't win wars. A living Absalom is a permanent civil war waiting to reignite. A dead Absalom is a threat that's over. Joab makes the hard, brutal calculation that David, as a father, couldn't bring himself to make. And when David collapses in grief, weeping, "Oh Absalom, my son," refusing to celebrate his own victory, it's Joab who marches into the king's chamber and rebukes him to his face. He tells David bluntly that his mourning is humiliating the very soldiers who just saved his throne and his life. "Get up," he says, "go out and thank your army, or you'll lose it by mourning." And David listens, because Joab, once again, is right. Murder and consequence. Joab's ferocity claims one more victim before the story is through. Late in David's reign, a man named Amasa is appointed by David to replace Joab as army commander, a political move after another rebellion. Joab doesn't accept this quietly. He meets Amasa on the road, greets him like a brother, reaches out as if to kiss him in greeting, and drives a dagger into his stomach while Amasa's guard is completely down. Just like Abner, years earlier. Same method, same cold precision. By now, the pattern is undeniable. Joab does not forgive rivals. He does not share power, and he settles every threat to his position with a blade and a smile. This catches up to him. On his deathbed, David finally gives the order he could never bring himself to give while he lived. He instructs his son and successor, Solomon, not to let Joab's gray head go down to the grave in peace. "The blood of Abner and Amasa," David says, "has been hanging over this house for years." When Solomon takes the throne, Joab senses what's coming and flees to the altar of the Lord, grabbing its horns, a place that was supposed to guarantee sanctuary. It doesn't save him. Solomon's men execute him right there, at the altar, ending the life of the fiercest man in David's Vonenweis. So what do we actually make of Joab? He wasn't a villain in the simple sense. He built David's kingdom with his own hands. He made the hard calls David couldn't make. He was fiercely, unshakably loyal, right up until the moment his own ambition or vengeance took over. But that's exactly the tragedy of Joab. His ferocity was the same quality in every direction, whether he was winning David's wars or murdering David's rivals in cold blood. He never learned to turn it off. And in the end, the very ruthlessness that made him indispensable is what made him impossible to let live. Joab is a warning wrapped inside a success story. Loyalty without restraint eventually becomes its own kind of danger, even to the people it's loyal to.